So now look into the register organization in 8051 microcontroller. If we can recall, 8086 microprocessor, it has so many registers, and all those registers have been grouped into four types. 8086 microprocessor registers, they have been grouped into four types, like data register, general purpose registers, segment registers, flag registers, like that. They have been grouped into four types. But here in 8051 microcontroller, all the registers what 8051 has, or what 8051 supports, all the registers, they have been grouped into two types. 8051 registers have been grouped into two types. First type is general purpose registers, and the second type is special function registers. I'll be repeating it once again. 8051 registers have been grouped into two types. One is general purpose registers, and the next is special function registers. And if you look into the general purpose registers, nearly there are six general purpose registers. There are six general purpose registers. First one is nothing but A register. A register is nothing but accumulator. Here A stands for accumulator, wherein which 8086 microprocessor accumulator is being represented with AX. So the functioning of AX in processor and the functioning of A in controller, both are same. A stands for accumulator, and this is of 8-bit size. I'll just brief you now, and laterly we'll see in detail one by one. B register. Here, if you observe, I have highlighted the B register in red color. The reason why I have highlighted in red color is that this B register, it can be used either as a general purpose register, or it can also be used as a special function register. B register, which is also of 8-bit size. A register is also of 8-bit size, and B register is also of 8-bit size. But based on the usage, how you are using or in which operation you are using, based on that, B register can be, it may come under general purpose register, or it may come under special function register. So that is the speciality of B register. It can perform two operations. It can be used as general, and it can be used for special functions also. And next, coming to R0 through R7. So these are the registers which are named as register 0, register 1, register 2, like that, register 7. So there are registers starting from R0 to R7. And next is that stack pointer, SP. In short, we can call it as SP. It is also of 8-bit register only. And next, program counter, PC. Here, the thing that you need to remember is that among all these six, this program counter is of 16-bit register. Among all the six registers of general purpose registers, program counter is the one which contains 16 bits, whereas the remaining registers, they support only 8-bit of data. I'm repeating it once again. Program counter of general purpose registers of 8051 is of 16-bit register. Program counter, in short form, we call it as a PC. It is of 16-bit register, whereas the remaining 5 are of what we call 8-bit registers only. And the next register is instruction register. So this is what all about the general purpose registers. And if we move on to the special function registers, in today's class, we'll discuss only about the general purpose registers. But here I'll just tell you the full forms of the special function registers. Special function registers, these are also of 6 types. There are, so here 6 types of general purpose registers and 6 types of special purpose register. And here PSWR. PSWR means program status word. PSWR means program status word register, which is very, very important register in 8051. And next it is DPTR. DPTR means data pointer register. PSWR means program status word register. DPTR means data pointer register. And next it will be timer registers. And next P0 to P3 means ports. P0 to, they are nothing but ports. Port 0 to port 3. And next it is going to be control register, and next it is going to be capture register. Here I'm just briefing in detail. Now we'll see the general purpose registers. So now move on to the A register. A register, as I told you, it is also called as accumulator, and it is of 8-bit register only. So what is the functioning of an accumulator, whether it is in 8086 microprocessor or it is in 8051 microcontroller? The operation or the working of accumulator is that it stores the result. It stores the result soon after the execution of an each instruction. I'm keep on saying this particular point so many times. There will be so many intermediate results when you are executing a program. So all those intermediate results will be stored in accumulator only. If you are not specifying any register to store your result, the final result also, after the final result also, if you're not specifying where that result is to be stored, by defaultly the result will be stored in accumulator only. So after the execution of a program, the result will by defaultly store in accumulator. So before the execution, what does accumulator will store? See here I'm just writing one simple example. Try to understand that. Move ax comma bx, moves ax comma bx. So now just see that after the execution, here there is nothing to be executed. Here you are just transferring the data. That means before the execution, accumulator will store the operand. I hope you people remember what is opcode and what is operand. Here move is called as opcode and these are called as operands. So before the execution of an instruction, accumulator will store the operands, and after the execution of an instruction or of a program, it will be storing the result. Before execution it will store the operand, after the execution accumulator will store the result. And now accessing the accumulator is more faster than accessing the memory. You need to keep this particular point in your mind. Accessing, if you want to access with the memory of 8051 microcontroller, it will be taking more time. But if you want to access the accumulator, it will be taking less time. So that indicates that end user who is writing the program, he can access the accumulator faster than accessing to the memory. So this is about the A register, which is nothing but accumulator. And next, moving on to the B register. B register, as I told you, it can be used either as a general register or it can also be used as specific register. So when is it going to be used as general register? If you are writing a program for multiplication or division, assume that you are writing a program which involves either multiplication or division. In that particular program, if you are using B register, then in that scenario, B register can be considered as a specific function register. If you are making use of the B register either in multiplication program or in division program, then in that scenarios it is being used as a specific purpose register. Apart from those two operations, if you are using it for any other operation, addition, subtraction, logical ending, logical ORing, what we call swapping or anything, shifting, shift left, shift right, let you use it for any operation except for multiplication and division, then in that scenario B register can be used as general purpose. If it is used in multiplication and division operation, in that scenarios only B register will be acting as a special function register. So what is it going to store if it is used in multiplication operation? If B register is used in multiplication programming, then it will be storing the higher byte of the result. I'm repeating it once again. If you are using B register in multiplication program, you are writing a program to perform multiplication operation, then if you are using B register in that particular program, then what does that B register will store? B register will store the higher byte of the result. Say for example, result is having D0 to D7. Assume that result is of 8-bit register. Then it will be storing the higher byte. Higher byte means it will be storing D4 to D7. It will be storing D4 to D7. If it is a 16-bit, then it will be storing the higher byte. Higher byte means it will be coming from D8 to D15. So if B register is used in multiplication program, it will be storing the higher byte of the register. If it is used in division operation, if B register is used in a program where you are writing that program for division, in that scenario B register will store the remainder. Generally what we do, whenever we are performing the division operation, our concentration will be on quotient only. We are not bothered about the remainder. So here the remainder is also being stored in B register only. The quotient will be stored in accumulator by defaultly if you are not specifying any register, and the remainder will by defaultly store in B register. So this is what all about the B register. As usually Before the execution, it will be storing the operand, and after the execution, if it is a multiplication program, it will store the higher byte of data. If it is a division operation, it will store the remainder of that particular number. And next is nothing but registers from R0 through R7. Registers from R0 through R7. See here, 8051 has 4 register banks. 8051 has 4 register banks. Apart from these, I'm talking about R0 through R7. These and all these 4 banks, they have the registers from R0 to R7. That means R0, R1, R2, R3, like that, R7. So like that, if you see what the total registers which are available from R0 to R7, there will be 4 into 8. 32 registers which are starting from R0 to R7 are available in 8051 microcontroller. But all these 32 registers which are being named with R0 to R7, they have been segregated into 4 banks. They have been segregated into 4 banks. So we cannot use all the banks at a time. We cannot use all the banks at a time. We can at a time use R0 to R7 only, but which bank R0 to R7 we have to use, that will be decided by the PSWR, that is nothing but the specific function register. I'm repeating this once again. There will be 4 banks where each bank will contain R0 through R7 registers. At a time, we can use only one bank in our program. So what is that bank? Which bank we need to use? That is being decided by the PSWR. And here, as I told you, that there are 4 banks. Each bank is having some starting address and ending address. See here, bank 0, it will be starting with 00 and it will be closing with 07. And bank 1, it starts with 08 and it closes with 0FH. Similarly, bank 2, 10 to 17. Bank 3, 18 to 1FH. So these are the starting and ending addresses of the banks. Here I just have displayed how the addresses are being assigned to R0 to R7 if it is stored in bank 0 and if it is stored in bank 1. See here, 00 will be assigned for R0. 00 will be assigned for R0 if you are working with bank 0. And 01 will be assigned to R1. 02 will be assigned to R2. 03 will be assigned to R3. In that way, 08 will be assigned to R7 if you are working with bank 0, because bank 0 starting address is 00 and ending address is 07. Sorry, here it is going to be 7, not 8. It will be 7. Okay. Similarly, if you look at the bank 1 will be starting with an address of 08 and it will be ending with an address of 0F. I have represented that one also. See here, bank 1, it will start with 8 and it will close with F. So within 8 to F, the registers are being, the register names will be same, but their address location will be changing from bank to bank. Say for example, if you want to know the address location of R2, if you want to know the address location of R2, it will be having 4 address locations. It will be having 4 address locations because R2 will be there in 4 banks. So if you want to know the address of R2 in bank 1, if you want to know address of R2 in bank 1, then address of R2 in bank 1 will be 0AH. In a similar way, if you want to know address of R2 in bank 0, then the address is going to be 02. So in that way, each bank will assign some specific address for R0 to R7, and the address locations of these registers R0 to R7 will vary from bank to bank because each bank is having its own starting and ending address. So that's about the registers R0 through R7. And next, if we move on to the next register, that is nothing but stack pointer. As you all know that the stack pointer will be working with the stack register. Stack pointer will be working with stack register. As usually, it will store the address of the stack register only. Stack pointer will point out the address of the stack register. After the reset operation, the stack pointer will be initialized with a value of 07H. Remember this particular point in 8051 microcontroller. Soon after the reset operation, it is stack pointer is having by default value, and that by default value is 07. If stack pointer is carrying 07 means then stack will carry 08. you can remember in this way, if stack pointer is carrying a value of x, then stack will carry a value of x plus 1. And these values are predefined. We can't change those values. Soon after the reset operation, stack pointer will carry a value of 07, and when stack pointer is carrying 7, stack will carry 8. And whenever you are performing push operation, then stack pointer value will be incremented. And if you are performing pull operation, that means if you are retrieving the data from stack, then stack pointer value will be decremented from 7. If push operation is performed, then stack pointer value will be incremented. And if you're performing the pull operation, then stack pointer value is going to be decremented. And the next one is nothing but the program counter. As I told you, among all the 6 of the general purpose registers of 8051 microcontroller, program counter is the one register which is of 16-bit length, and the remaining 5 are of 8-bit length only. Only the program counter is of 16-bit length. And the functioning of program counter, we have seen it in the 8086 microprocessor also. It is going to store the address of next instruction that is to be executed. It will be storing the address of next instruction that is to be executed. Who will perform this operation in 8086 microprocessor? Who will be storing the address of the next instruction? That is nothing but instruction pointer. In processor, instruction pointer will store address of the next instruction, whereas in 8051 microcontroller, program counter will store the address of the next instruction that is to be executed. So here program counter in 8051 is of 16-bit length. And the last register of these general purpose registers is nothing but instruction register. See here, instruction pointer is different, instruction register is different. Instruction pointer will be learning about it in 8086 microprocessor, and about instruction register will be learning in 8051 microcontroller. What does this do? Instruction register, it will decode the opcode. What is an opcode? Mnemonic. Mnemonic is nothing but the opcode. Say for example, add ax comma bx. In add ax comma bx, opcode is nothing but add ax comma bx will be the operands. So here instruction register is going to decode. It will be decoding the opcode, and after decoding that particular opcode, decoding is nothing but we are writing the program in mnemonics. All those mnemonics will be decoded into binary language, that is nothing but machine language. So that is being done by the instruction register in 8051 microcontroller. And once if it converts the mnemonics into the machine language, then it is going to transfer some commanding signals to the control unit. It will transfer the commanding signals to the control unit. Control unit is not a new block. Control unit is nothing but the timing unit only. In 8051 block diagram, we have timer 0 and timer 1 blocks, right? Those two blocks combinedly can be called as a control unit. So soon after the decoding is done, then instruction register will release the signals to the control unit. So this control unit generates the necessary signals to execute the instruction. So here instruction register will decode the opcode. After decoding the opcode, that means after converting the mnemonics into the machine language, it will be releasing signals to the control unit. Once the control unit receives the signals from the instruction register, control unit will again release the signals. Here two signals are being released. One kind of signals are being released by the instruction register, another kind of signals are being released by the control unit. So based on the signal that control unit receives, it will receive the signals which will help the processor to execute the instructions. So that is what all about the instruction registers. So these are all the 6 registers, 6 general purpose registers that we have in 8051 microcontroller.